Hello and a warm welcome to Well This Week by latestlaws.com. This is a weekly program, so hit the bell icon to get notifications for new videos. My name is Sheetal June, Associate Editor, latestlaws.com, and I will be taking you through the significant orders and judgments passed by various courts in the country and some important international news from this week. Let's begin with Supreme Court this week. The Parliament did a half-hearted job in amending the Aligarh Muslim University Act in 1981, the Supreme Court has remarked, pointing out that though the amendment sought to include the Muslim voice in the administration of the institution, it fell short of conferring the complete minority character on AMU. As a 7-judge bench led by Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, reserved its judgment in the case relating to the minority status of AMU, the court observed that the amendments made in 1981 changed the definition of the term university under the AMU Act to state that it was established by the Muslims and made some other changes. The court added that the 1981 amendments did not restore to the position that existed prior to 1951. After the constitution was enforced, the original AMU Act of 1920 was modified to remove provisions for compulsory religious education to provide for the university to be open to students of all caste, creed, sex, etc., remove the requirement of all the members of the court administrative body of the university to be Muslims. There is a need to maintain the dignity and reputation of the judicial officers and to protect them from motivated, libelous and unfounded allegations, the Supreme Court has said while convicting an advocate in a 2006 criminal contempt case. A bench of Justice Vikram Nath and Justice P.S. Narasimha said that the Delhi High Court was correct in rejecting the apology of the lawyers as it lacked sincerity and was belated and a mere lip service. However, considering his age and medical ailments, it modified the sentence given to the lawyer by the High Court from imprisonment for 3 months to till the rising of the court. While appearing in a matter for a client in 2006, Advocate Gulshan Bajwa had allegedly threatened a lawyer before the High Court bench. When notice was issued to him, he failed to appear. Bajwa then filed an application in the same matter, levelling allegations against the judge of the High Court. The Apex Court has directed states and union territories to accord top priority to the problems of overcrowding in jails, finding the actual occupancy of jail across the country to be shocking and quite worrying, and directed committees to be set up in each district within a week to prepare a roadmap on the numbers of jails needed to cater to prison population for the next 50 years. The observation came as the court was hearing a suo motu petition on inhuman conditions in prisons, where it received reports from states and union territories on the number of jails, sanctioned and actual capacity of prisoners, and pending proposals or plans to create more jails. 2 states, Maharashtra and Jharkhand, did not submit a report as the court imposed a cost of Rs 10,000 each of them. The Supreme Court has expressed surprise over the mentioning of caste and religion of the parties in the case details, saying such a practice must be shunned and ceased forthwith in all the courts of the country. The top court directed all the courts, including the high courts, to ensure that the caste and religion of the parties are not mentioned in any petition, suit or proceedings before them. Acting on a transfer petition from Rajasthan, a bench of Justice Hima Kohli and Justice Asanuddin Anhamullah noted with surprise that the caste of both the parties has been mentioned in the memo of the parties, besides their other details. Now let's have an overview of High Courts. Issuance of No Caste, No Religion certificate by the Revenue Department without a government order is unconstitutional and would lead to the administrative anarchy, opined the Madras High Court and dismissed the petition seeking such a certificate. The petitioner H. Santosh moved the court seeking to direct the state to consider his representation and issue No Caste, No Religion certificate. However, Justice S. M. Subramanian, while appreciating the petitioner's desire to secure the certificate, observed that such a certificate could be issued by the Tahsildar in the absence of any power conferred by the government. Such unhinged power would lead to administrative anarchy and become unconstitutional. If the courts entertain the petitioner's plea, it will open a floodgate to other persons to seek such a certificate, forcing the authorities to issue it in the absence of any such powers. The court added and dismissed the petition. The Patna High Court, while allowing an appeal filed under Section 374(2) of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 by appellants and convicts against the judgment of conviction passed by learned additional district and sessions judge, by which the appellants have been convicted under Section 364A, read with Section 34 of the Indian Penal Code, held by the non-examination of the investigating officer, the defense has lost the opportunity to cross-examine the said witness, that is the investigating officer, and thereby there is a lacuna in the case of the prosecution. The court observed that the non-examination of the investigating officer is not fatal to the prosecution case, especially when no prejudice is likely to be suffered by the accused. However, in a given circumstance where the examination of the investigating officer becomes vital, It is the duty of the prosecution to examine the investigating officer, and in such cases, his non-examination creates a lacuna in the case of the prosecution. The Kerala High Court, while allowing a petition which was filed against the detention order seeking for release of the detenu who was still in custody after the bail order, has ruled that the detention order was unjustified, noting the absence of overt acts against the detenu in the last crime, and emphasized the need for an inquiry into the detenu's active involvement, and criticized the considerable delay by the sponsoring authority in reporting the offence. The court observed that there was no overt act which has been attributed against the detenu in the last crime, and in such circumstances, the detaining authority should have applied mind to examine the active involvement of the detenu in the commission of the offence. The court further stated that to issue a detention order, mere registration of FIR of the crime is not sufficient in itself, and there should be an inquiry conducted to know the nature of the involvement by the detenu in the commission of the crime. The Allahabad High Court, while dismissing a revision application challenging the order of maintenance granted by the family court to the wife, observed that a husband is required to earn money even by the physical labor if he is able-bodied and cannot avoid his obligation except on the legally permissible ground. The Madhya Pradesh High Court has reiterated that the amended Section 13 of the Prevention of Corruption Act would not obliterate the unamended Section 13(1)(d), as the same creates a vacuum in the law and goes against the principle of rule of law. The court noted that accepting the concept of obliteration upon substitution of original provision by the amended one would also free the past offenders of the crime committed under the unamended Section 13(1)(d) due to the application of Article 20 of the Constitution, and this can never be the intention of the law. The single judgment of the Jharkhand High Court has held that the disposing of the bail application of the juvenile, the gravity of offence cannot be the ground to deny the bail application of the juvenile unless and until there are exceptional circumstances as provided in the proviso of Section 12 of the Juvenile Justice Act 2015. The court observed that under normal circumstances, the bail application of the juvenile should be allowed except those specified under proviso of Section 12 of the JJ Act 2015. Considering the social investigation report, the CCL is not found to violate any of the provision outlined in Section 12 of the JJ Act 2015. Moving on to international news this week. A Pakistani court sentenced former Prime Minister Imran Khan to 10 years in jail after finding him guilty of violating the nation's Official Secrets Act by making a diplomatic cable public when he was in power. The case pertains to allegations that Imran Khan had shared contents of a secret cable sent by the country's ambassador in Washington to the government in Islamabad. Imran Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf (PTI), said both Khan and former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi had been sentenced to 10 years each by a special court. It said that the party would challenge the decision and call it a sham case. The United Nations top court has ordered Israel to comply with international law on genocide in a politically explosive case that raises pressure on the conduct of its war in Gaza. The International Court of Justice said Israel should limit harm to Palestinians in Gaza but stopped short of calling for an immediate end to the military offensive. Its interim ruling on Friday came shortly before the UN's Palestinian Relief Agency said it had dismissed several employees over their alleged involvement in the Hamas attack that triggered the war. A New York jury said Donald Trump must pay $83.3 million to former Elle magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll for defaming her when he denied he sexually assaulted her, a scathing indictment of his conduct as the former president campaigns to return to the White House. The award was handed down Friday in a Manhattan federal court after a trial that spanned 2 weeks. Carroll testified Trump shattered her reputation and put her life at risk when he falsely claimed that the assault never took place, which unleashed waves of online abuse and threats by his followers. The panel of the 7 men and 2 women deliberated for about 3 hours after hearing from several witnesses, including Trump and Carroll. In the end, we have miscellaneous news. The Delhi government, led by Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, has approved the proposal to constitute 2 designated courts of the additional sessions judge in each judicial district of Delhi to deal with the matters of unregulated deposit schemes cases, said an official press release. The decision, made in accordance with Section 8 of the Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Act 2019, passed by the Indian Parliament, has received approval from the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court. The Allahabad High Court, while criticizing frequent striking by the lawyers, has remarked that the institution of justice and courts of law cannot be equated with industrial establishments where the concept of trade unions is utilized to justify strikes by industrial laborers owing to their demand from employers. The division bench, comprising of Acting Chief Justice Manoj Kumar Gupta and Justice Kishit Shailendra, has stated that it is alarming that the court's functioning is disrupted on a frequent basis as a result of strikes. The court stressed that neither a state bar council nor a bar association can be treated like a trade union bargaining for their demands, and they are well equipped with all the legal means to find solutions to any problem. The Supreme Court has sought a response from the centre on a PIL assailing the procedure for appointment of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India (CAG) on grounds that it is not independent, fair and transparent and violated the constitutional mandate. A bench headed by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud took note of the submissions of senior advocate Vikas Singh, appearing for the PIL petitioners, that the existing system of the executive appointment of the CAG lacks transparency. The bench, also comprising of Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, issued notices to the Union Ministries of Law and Justice and Finance. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. This is a weekly program, and to get more information, please check the description box, and for weekly updates, like and subscribe to our channel.